Relapse doesn't mean failure. It's part of the journey. In this video, you'll learn why relapse is actually really part of the journey, how it happens, how can you prevent it, and how can you get back on track after you experience it. But before all of that, who am I? My name is Wesley, and my mission is to help prevent 1,000 men from getting to suicidal thoughts, to killing themselves because of porn addiction. These are my type of videos, and if that interests you, make sure you subscribe. Also, don't you feel like you don't have the energy, the motivation, or I'd say the happiness when you're doing tasks, when you're doing activities out with friends, with family, important people in your life, right? You don't feel this happiness inside of you. You don't feel like it's enjoyable. You're tired, you're bored, and the only thought that you have the whole activity is, I would much rather prefer going back home and just masturbating. Oh, I just have to wait 2 more hours until we get back home and I will be able to masturbate to porn. And you start counting the hours, you start being on your phone and looking actually at the time that you're going to arrive home, right? You can imagine that you went the whole day without fapping. So you waited as usual the night at maybe 8 p.m. every day you fap. And now it's 7 and your family planned to go to the cinema. So you have to go and watch a movie with them. You actually say yes because they bring you by force, because they know that if they don't obligate you to come, you won't go with them. You will stay at home, and later in the night while they're away, you're going to go into the bathroom or just hang in your room because there is no one, and you will masturbate, right? They bring you by force, and now you're there on the movie and actually watching the movie, and you can't fully concentrate on the movie because your thoughts are thinking about porn and the moment that you're going to get back home. You start looking at the time because you're feeling stressed. You don't like the movie, even though it's a great movie, right? You're on the phone checking what hour it is. Oh, only 20 minutes and the movie is finished. After I can go back home and masturbate. Don't you see how porn negatively impacts your life? And don't you want to put an end to that? If you're really determined in that journey, first link down in the description. On that, let's continue directly with the video. Before talking about how you can solve relapse and how you can get back on track and everything, you have to first understand what is a relapse. So, I'll start by saying you're on this path to recovery. You're trying to actively get out of this porn addiction. So you're trying to go, I don't know, day 200 without fapping, right? You have this goal to never get back on porn for a lifetime, right? And you go 1 week into it. You're trying to not fap for the whole week to porn, and a week in, you're good. 10 days in, you're good. But the 11th day, what happened? You relapse. Why did you relapse? And what is a relapse? You went back into the bathroom, you grabbed your phone, you watched porn, and you fapped, you came. The fact that you restarted your addiction is the relapse. And now that you understand what is a relapse, you don't have to see it as a failure, right? The relapse isn't a failure. The relapse is an opportunity for you to actually learn what made you relapse. Is it because your brain convinced you? If it's the case, what did he use to convince you? If you see that, right before fapping, so right before your relapse, what were you doing on your phone? Were you on Instagram scrolling until you saw a video of a half-naked woman shaking her butt to your Instagram, and that gave you urge? What gave you the urges to want to go and fap? And what made you actually break your frame, break your determination to actually quit? You have to first understand that, and when you successfully understand this point, you can now work on actually escaping this this path, actually breaking this urges and this relapse action, so you won't relapse again because of this. As I was saying before, don't see relapse as a failure, see it as a way, a meaning to refine your strategies, right? If you relapse, that's because your strategies aren't top notch, they're not at the high level, right? If they were actually working great, you wouldn't have relapsed. So see it as an opportunity to actually improve yourself and learn from your mistakes. That's the important point. Nobody learns from their mistakes. And why does I mention that? It's because most of the time people don't actually look back on this, and all they do is when they relapse, they go on their forum and they just say, oh damn, I relapsed, I feel so pissed off, so mad at myself, I'm so trash, and they start insulting themselves and feeling demoralized and just really not feeling well, right? And it's normal. You're trying to finally quit this porn addiction and you see that you won't be able to do it this time. But what prevents you from doing it next time, right? The next opportunity that you're trying, you will be able to quit. You just have to learn from it. Don't be the person, the guy, that just talks about the fact that, oh, I'm feeling like I'm trash because I can't escape. Okay, why are you feeling like that? What made you relapse? What can you actually actively do to improve it so next time you don't relapse, right? You see the different way of seeing it. That's what's preventing you from actually quitting right now. And as I said, the learning from the setbacks. If you realize that every time you go for 10 minutes on Reddit, you relapse, stop going on Reddit for 10 minutes, right? And yes, you may feel that, oh no, but I need Reddit in my day because I'm addicted to Reddit, for example. I don't know. If you feel like you need it, then why do you need it? Do you need it for work or for entertainment? If you need it for entertainment, find another way to be entertained, right? Maybe go on YouTube, go do something else. But try to avoid Reddit. If you need it for work, maybe Reddit is a bad example, but let's imagine you can work on Reddit and actually like make money and everything. Well, put the time that you usually have to be on it. For example, if you have 1 hour to be on Reddit for work, put actually a timer of 1 hour, and when the 1 hour is finished, you actually close Reddit and you don't open it. And you don't actually stick to your rules, right? So if you just have the 1 hour, you won't have extra time to actually go and scroll until you see your post, your trigger, and then trigger the urges and you go and fight. And on that, I want to share the story of one of my friends who I talked to it about this porn addiction because he had one, and I was actively trying to really help him in this journey. And so because I'm a coach, you can see that, you can imagine that I have a lot of resources and everything, and I can actually really easy for me to actually help someone get free way faster, like in easily maybe 3 months easy earlier. And sometimes people, it takes years for them to actually quit. Me, it doesn't take more than like 2 months. So I actually talked with him, and you see this guy, his trigger was Instagram. Every time he would go on Instagram, he would scroll for 1 hour, sometimes more. That's like the social media addiction. And while he was scrolling on Instagram, wasting his time, every time this thing happened, he looked at a post and it was a girl with like bikini post, right? And he clicks on the profile and goes on the reels and see that it's a girl who does TikTok trends sometimes and does dance to other things and things like that, right? She see her dance, see her boobs shaking and everything, and that's what's actually making him excited, right? Once he's excited, his dick goes hard, and when his dick goes hard, this creates the urges to fap, because in his mind has been conditioned so that every time his dick is hard, he have to actually fap himself, which is not the case, right? But you can see a lot of people in life have this belief that when your dick is hard, you go and fap, and you fap to what, right? You fap to porn. So every time his dick was hard, he was going and fapping to porn. And Instagram was making his dick hard, So you can see the pattern, right? Instagram, making his dick hard because of a girl. His dick is hard, so the only solution that he have in his mind is, I have to masturbate. I have to masturbate. And because he have to masturbate, what does he use to masturbate? Porn. So Instagram, that's not a porn site, right? Leads to porn sites coming. So you can see the pattern, and because I successfully identified the pattern with him, I could target the point that I saw was really problematic. And now he's free, right? He's no longer on this porn addiction, and in his life he's doing really greater than he was before. I can see it, right? He's still my friend. I'm still in contact with him, and I can see every day like he feel way more happiness in his life and way more energy and all the benefits that I'm basically talking about every time. I saw it on him, and because he was talking about it with me, right? We're talking about it, and I said, oh, like, how are you feeling right now? Are you actually having things and all? And he was like, oh yeah, I feel so great. And he was kind of explaining it to me, how basically all of what I'm feeling right now. He was explaining that he started feeling that and everything. And I was like, oh, I'm so glad for you and everything. Something I see a lot online is people right after a relapse first commenting on social media that, oh damn, I'm just relapsed and everything. I don't know why they do that, but hey, let's do what you want. But they lose hope. That's the important point. They lose hope. They say, oh, I'm never going to get free, and they say such negative comments that if you don't think to yourself that you can actually get free from this porn addiction, why would someone else be able to actually convince you that you are, right? To first be able to do something, you have to think that you'll be able to do something. If I don't think that right now I could go up of my chair and just walk and still like interact with you, how would I do it, right? To first do an action, you have to actually think about it and convince yourself that you would be this type of guy, right? I'm not running a lot of outside, right? I'm running just a little bit sometimes, but I'm sure of myself. I'm really convinced that I could go and run 10 miles right now. I won't do it first try, right? I won't like run non-stop. Or maybe. I'm still thinking into myself that I could run this 10 miles one shot without ever stopping. But I might not be able to do it, right? That's thing that happened. But I'm confident in myself that I will be able to. Just having this mindset that I know that if right now I had to run this 10 miles, I could do it non-stop, brings a lot more chances on my side to actually run this 10 mile, right? In comparison to someone that thinks that after 3 miles, he will be done. At 3 miles, he will probably be done, but me at 3 miles, because I have the thoughts that I could do 10, I will continue running and running and running. So I'm kind of going way faster than him, right? Because I know that I could keep going. And at 10, I will probably be the guy to say to myself, oh, I could do 15. And at 15, oh, I could do 20. So you kind of see that my mindset is way greater than someone that say, oh, I know that after 3, I'm dead. And probably it could happen that at 3, I'm dead as well. But my thoughts is that I could go 10 and 20. So the motivation that I have when I'm running and everything, it's way greater than someone that have this pessimistic mindset that, oh, after 3 I will be dead and I will start walking. I don't want to run anymore, and I won't be able to do 10. That's the the most idiotic thing you can do is think to yourself before running the 10 miles, actually thinking to yourself, I can't run the 10 miles. If you can't run it, who will run it at your place, right? Imagine right now there's a gun pointed to you, like to your mother, and the guy say you have to run 10 miles or she will die. Will you be the guy to say, oh no, but I can't run it, I'll actually kill her? That's not going to happen, right? You're going to be the guy to say, oh, okay, I'll try to do it. And when you try to do it, don't think to yourself, oh, but at 3 I won't feel my legs anymore and I will probably quit. You're thinking to yourself, I will do the fucking 10 because if I don't do it, my mother is going to die. And I have this mindset every time I do something. I know that I will be able to achieve it. And that's way greater, right? Then, now, apply this mindset into porn addiction. You know that you're going to be able to quit. Just having this mindset is actually a greater step than everyone that actually relapses and think to themselves, I'm never going to be able to quit it, I'm not good enough, and all these things. That's actually a new setback that you put on yourself, and it's creating a boundary, a limit that you can't go higher than. In each video, I emphasize the support point, the support group, the support friends, the support family, and even searching for a mentor such as me, right? Every video I emphasize on this point, but when you relapse, it's even more important. You actually need support when you relapse, because most of the time, the emotions that come through you when you relapse is negative emotion. You're feeling like you're a shit, you're this, you're that, you're feeling miserable, you're feeling like your life has no worth. You have all these bad emotions that's coming through you, and having someone on your side saying no, look, you already did a full week, no, look, and actually encouraging you, giving you advice to not do the relapse again, and all these things. That's what's going to lift you up and actually make you free way faster. Asking for help when you're feeling vulnerable isn't a sign of weakness. It's actually a sign of strength. And I say this because a lot of people, they have too much of an ego and they think that they can do it all by themselves, and that if they ask for help from someone, it's because they're not good enough, and all these bad thoughts from the ego inside of you. And that's preventing them from actually searching for help. And that's preventing them from actually quitting the porn addiction. And now they're stuck on the porn addiction for another 2 years before actually being finally able to quit it. When they could have make it happen way quicker, right? If they actually just listened to the advice that people give, which is to start searching for support. And I'm actually giving you this right now because I remember one of the clients that I had. When we first talked about it, he said I wasn't really approached. I didn't want to approach because I didn't want to have help. I wanted to do it all alone. And it was an ego thing. He was actually talking with me about the ego and the fact that all of what he's doing in life is always about his ego and the fact that he wants to prove to himself that he's able to do it. And by asking for help, he sees himself as more of a girl than a boy, right? More of someone that always needs help than someone that is strong and all able to do it by himself. And that's why this situation actually made me remember this time when I said to him the strength, and that it's a strength to actually be able to ask help and not a weakness. You actually need courage, right? To actually ask for help. It's not everyone that asks for help, right? And sometimes the weakness, why people see it as a weakness, is because people that are weak are usually the one that always ask for help. They ask for help for this, that. But the strength needs help also, but needs it way less. They don't always ask for help. They're usually the people that try to do it by themselves first, and they tried, but they know that they can't do everything, right? You can't actually do everything. You can't lift a fridge by your own self and just when you're actually changing from apartments, right? You're going into a house or something and you have to actually take all of your stuff from your last house and bring it to your new house. The fridge, you don't take it alone, right? Don't put a thing on it and up and you go with it and you charge it in the truck alone. You do it with another people, at least. You get what I mean, right? There's things that you can do alone, but there's things that you can't do alone. You don't do alone, you need a partner. You need someone to actually help with this, right? Finally, the last point is to stay committed, to actually stay on the track to your recovery. Each relapse is actually a chance for you to slip from the recovery system all alone and just go back to masturbating every day and go back to your porn addiction. But you don't have to be this guy, and please don't be this guy, this person that actually relapse. And what he does, he say, oh, I'll restart my recovery journey, but 1 month later, and the whole month he goes and fap again to his porn addiction, and the month after he doesn't restart his recovery plan. He just continue to relapse and relapse and relapse and relapse over and over again. You have to keep reminding yourself of the reasons why did you start your journey, and this reason, please make it really like part of yourself. This reason must be really important, because when you're going to have these urges, your brain will actually try to convince you to go and fap again. But if you remember this reason, this good reason that you chose, you can just give this reason to your brain and you won't relapse. Or it will prevent at least 8 relapse out of 10. So that's really great, right? Instead of relapsing 20 times, you relapse just 3 times. That's like super good for you. So just remember, if right now you're really serious about your journey to quitting this porn addiction and you feel like you need help, or you don't feel like you need help, but you feel like that's an ego thing, and actually you've been trying for a long time and you see that on your own you can't do it, I'm there for you. You just have to click the link in the description. We can talk about it. We can set up a call to see if you really need help and what you need help with, or you can straight up just buy the thing, and you will see you will get free way faster with that, with guided support, and you will feel like you will ask yourself why you didn't buy it before, right? And that, take care of yourself.